Episode 16, Dave, and we're back in the friendly confines of our homes. And judging by the results from last week, it's probably a good thing that we're back in the confines of our home. We had an incredible time out at Ex Novo. One might argue too fun of a time, but it's good to see your face. It's good to be coming off of an incredible weekend. And in an event-filled weekend, what stood out the most to you, my friend?
I was Pride, right? First and foremost, we played a soccer game, and the soccer game was great. We had a great time. But Pride was about our community coming together, loving each other, being incredible New Mexicans, and that's what we saw. It was awesome. Everything from the tailgate, the drag show, the flags in the stadium, all of that incredible stuff. Just an incredible atmosphere, and it was great to be around people that we loved, loving each other. That was what stood out to me. You?
Same, absolutely the same. Before I tell you what really stood out to me, I should point out for our podcast listeners who are beloved, welcome to United Sessions. I'm Lucas Cash. He's David Carl. I just yelled out episode 16 and just started talking. I apologize for that. Maybe just a little bit of hangover from the weekend. But yes, the scenes. Saturday was an emotional day in the world of soccer. I don't think you and I can necessarily offer any bit of insight into the Christian Eriksen situation that hasn't already been offered. Obviously, all of our thoughts, prayers, good wishes go out to him and his family. We're so happy he's okay. But there was that sort of weird start to Saturday. And then to go out and see the beauty, the love, the acceptance, the unity, it was a solve for my soul. I have never actually gone to one of the tailgates for one of our home matches before. I'm usually just running around the press box like a crazy person.
And I've never not gone.
Yeah, but after the situation with Christian Eriksen, after the wonderful work of everyone involved in the production and me just feeling like I had the time to go over there, I went, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see, and I can see why it is that you don't miss many of these things because they really are a sight to behold. Really excited about tonight's episode. We've actually had it set up for a couple weeks, and we've got to spend a lot of time with our guest recently. He's been a longtime supporter of the club. He's what you could almost consider a foundational member of our game day experience. And that's Mr. Leroy Buster Silva. Talk to me about him, Dave.
Yeah, Leroy is an incredible human being, and I was explaining to producer Dylan, and Leroy and Dylan I think I've met but don't really know each other very well, but before we came on, I was doing introductions, and I said, Leroy is many things, but among those things is he is one of our diversity fellows, the inaugural class, and we have had the privilege of having him in the office with us for the past several weeks. He's an incredible human being, does incredible work. You may recognize him as a fan from the Flag Runners. Before every single New Mexico United home match, has an incredible group, and it's kind of a rotating group of kids out there running the flag, representing our state before every single match. It's absolutely beautiful. Also, just a really good guy. Someone I consider a friend. Leroy is a really great guy. So I'm excited to bring him on here. There's a lot of amazing community work around fitness, around the No to Be Gay Foundation, MB3 Foundation. It goes on and on and on. And we'll let Leroy kind of explain it more himself. I don't want to gild the lily.
Yeah, on top of his laundry list of accomplishments, academic accolades, I think it also needs to be pointed out that he's just a remarkably handsome person. So if you're not here for the actual content of the podcast, just stick around, and just seeing Leroy will absolutely make it worth it. Dave, we're doing something a little bit different with our first commercial break this time. I'm going to do the whole rate, subscribe, review spiel, and then why don't you set up that video and we'll toss to break. We love your support. Thank you for giving us your time, giving us your attention, and mostly for making it feel like valid work what me and Dave are doing here. It's a soccer podcast, but mostly it's a community podcast masquerading as a soccer podcast, and we love your support. So if you can rate the podcast, if you can subscribe to it, if you can review, that just helps us reach more folks, and it's just a couple of clicks of your buttons. So thank you so much in advance for doing that. And Dave, why don't you set up this video?
Yeah, so this commercial break is going to be pretty cool. If you've been following United on social media, and I imagine most of the people who are listening in have followed United on social media, you've probably seen our Somos Familia series, this incredible series that some of the incredible creatives surrounding New Mexico United put together. And it's essentially focusing on fans, some really awesome fans, really awesome people that make game day special, make match day special, make the United experience special. And the next episode is going to air tonight, going to premiere at 7:30 p.m. on our social media channels. We're going to give you a quick little preview right now.
So for us, New Mexico United was the key. They were the very first ones to really show a lot to the community and what it means to be united, and nothing compares to it. You feel the camaraderie between your fellow supporters, and you feel it coming from the players, and it's just so energetic. It's high energy. You feel invincible for a moment. You feel like you're part of something big. So, I mean, if you don't go to a United game, are you even New Mexican? So you need to go to a United game to feel that experience.
That was, of course, the Romancito family. They live out in Zuni Pueblo. Really incredible people, really great people that we know, that we've had the experience and the opportunity to get to know through New Mexico United. We got to go up actually to Zuni Pueblo a couple months back, kind of toward the, well, can't say toward the end because it's still ongoing, but the end of, I guess, that spike, that COVID spike. And we were distributing backpacks and soccer balls to young soccer players, had a great time, and saw the Romancito family out there. But they travel from Zuni for every single match. Just wonderful people. Somebody else who made an appearance in that video, you may have seen him. He's Leroy Buster Silva. Leroy.
What's up, everybody?
How are you, man?
Fellas? I'm doing well. A little tired, but I'm good. That's the life of a daddy and everything that I do.
Also, hard not to be tired when it's 120 degrees out.
Yes. Yes.
We've been living on the surface of the sun, and I think we're all a little bit the more weary for it. Leroy, you and I have a lot of history, man. I consider you family. We've been through a lot together, and I remember a conversation in the old offices on Commercial Street. We're a couple weeks out from the opening night of 2019. None of us know what we are doing. Absolutely none of us know what we're doing. And we're trying to plan this thing that none of us have ever seen. None of us have seen whatsoever. And one of the big things we wanted to do right out of the gate is we wanted to pay homage to the indigenous history of our state, and we wanted to do it in a meaningful way. And I think one of the smartest things we could have done is connect with you and have you walk us through that and have you give us some insights into it. So just kind of take me back into the time machine. You're walking into the office. What's going through your mind as you're going to have this first conversation with this professional soccer team?
Yeah, and actually, let me backtrack further than that. At the there was a Comic-Con going on, Indigenous Comic-Con going over at Isleta, and I ran into Quinn. And there was another gentleman, his name Seth, and that's the first time I saw the badge. That's the first time I saw the colors. I was like, "What's going on here?" So I again, like, what do you do for community? What's going on? And me not being a soccer fan at that moment, that's as far back as I go. But when I was walking into the office, the old offices, with the creaky floor and, just a small, the small apparel space, and, everybody was crammed up. Going in there, I didn't know what to expect in regard to, who's the owner and who am I going to be talking to? Are they going to accept, what we're trying to do here? All of these feelings, but also too is I wanted to know more about the history. And I think the thing that really caught my attention was the flag. You saw, and that's the first thing. And coming from, I grew up in the Pueblo of Laguna, and seeing Laguna Pueblo up there, Laguna, that's huge for me. And also to the rest of the other Pueblo nations as well, and all the rural communities and the cities. So that meant a lot to me. So I wanted to know more, but also to what is New Mexico United doing for the community? That was my biggest question when I ran into when I talked to you, Amanda, Peter, Ileana, and so that was the start of the creation of this partnership that we have.
I will never get tired of hearing the impact of the flag as someone who grew up in one of those rural communities as we were putting that together. I think it was just unintentionally one of the best things we could have done out of the gate to let New Mexico know that we were here for them. So we talk with you, we kick around a couple of ideas, and we land on this flag running ceremony. Yes. And I think for a lot of people who have been to a game day experience and they've seen that, they love it. They cheer. They think it's great. They think it's wonderful. I don't know that too many of them know the deeper symbolism of it. And I think probably one of the biggest reasons for bringing you on tonight, amongst many, is I think it's a great opportunity for you to explain what's actually going on with that, right? It's not just this ceremonial jog that, yay, MB3 is all about, healthy lifestyle and things like that. There's a lot of beauty to what's going on in that ceremony. And there's a lot of stuff that touches my spirit. Like it touches me right in the heartstrings. So just unpack what it is you guys are doing for us in that.
Yeah. So going back, I'm the community coordinator at the Notre Brigade III Foundation. Our mission is to ensure Native children achieve their full potential by advancing cultures and Native American community health. So that's my 9 to 5. I've been there about almost 4 years. So starting this partnership with New Mexico United, we wanted to do something in regard to, we didn't know exactly, like Lucas said, going into that space. So we kicked around ideas, and running is so significant to in a lot of cultures, especially to the indigenous cultures here in New Mexico. Is that running, you send messages, running, you do it for ceremony, things like that. So why didn't we incorporate, the flag and running and youth, what we're all about, to highlight organizations and Native youth within New Mexico and other communities to, kick everything off. So I'm not sure about, what other meetings and people listening here is that, how do you start your meetings off? Do you start with good intentions? You want everybody, your meeting, to go well, to go smooth. So that's the intention behind the flag run, is that we want to send positive vibes. Whoever is running on the pitch that night, is for them. It's not just, we want to celebrate the youth. We want to celebrate the indigenous communities and the organizations. But the main thing too, everybody who participates in the run, I make it known that, it's just not to celebrate us. It's not to celebrate this, the organization. When you're running on that pitch, you're sending positive vibes out to every fan and to the players, so they play to the best of their ability. Nobody gets hurt, and everybody returns home. But also to the running part, you're paying, respects to the land as well. So that's sort of like the land acknowledgement as well, is that your steps, everything when you're running on the pitch, and also to Albuquerque is on Pueblo land as well. So acknowledging the land, acknowledging the people who live here now, but also to acknowledging the communities that still hold this land in high regard and sacred. So all of that put together, that's what the New Mexico Flag Run is all about. And I'm very, very grateful that the leadership of New Mexico United really, really, supported it. Even after the pandemic, we were kind of in limbo. It's like, okay, is this going to continue? But taking that first step in 2021, that first game, that first run, that it was emotional. And I just to be real with you, it was very emotional, because again, all of the things that we've been through for the past year, over a year, and then revisiting, being able to stand on the pitch again and see fans in the crowd, in the stands, that is huge. So again, send positive vibes, acknowledge the land, acknowledge everybody who was in attendance, and just have a good night. And so that's what the significance of the flag run is. So again, when you see us, cheer loud, know that we're sending you positive vibes, whatever group we have out there. And again, so we start the night on a positive note. Whether, again, we always want to win, but also too, we want to make sure that everybody is safe, everybody returns home. And again, that's the story of the flag run.
That's all incredible and wonderful and better than we deserve. But I also want to, it kind of also leads into something else that I know is very important to you, which is fitness for kids. That's something that you're a big part of as well. You're an advocate for child well-being and child fitness. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. And it all goes back to, sports was my life growing up. So that's all I had, as far as what challenged me and what got me better, and that was my vehicle going to college. So for me, not knowing when I was in college, I just wanted to play basketball. And anybody who kicks a ball, anybody who throws a ball, you want to go play professionally. So that was my only focus. But unfortunately, fortunately, but I knew I wanted to help people. I did basketball camps throughout my life. Basketball was my passion. So for me to work in this space, I spent 11 years as an educator at the Native American Community Academy, and I taught personal wellness. So, again, why is it important that we have to care about our wellness, especially as youth, indigenous youth that I taught? So why is that important? So for me, it's my opportunity to give back to the youth that I didn't receive. Because I always used to say, if I'm a PE teacher, if I'm a teacher, I'm going to do it this way. So I had the opportunity to do that. And I just saw the significance of, the reason why, wellness is for everybody. And, for me, I've been in the spaces of indigenous communities and organizations. And for me to be a part of that, that's big for me. So any way I could give back to the community in that sense, because when you start earlier, when you start working on healthy habits at an early age, it's just going to, transform your life going into the future. So again, breaking those cycles, generational wellness. And again, just, and that's what I do on my outside of my 9 to 5 job too. And I'll talk more about that later with my social enterprise, Family Indigenize Thrive.
Let's talk about it right now.
Jeez, you are a busy man.
Yeah. So again, Family Indigenize Thrive is outside of my 9 to 5. It's just we are an intergenerational movement to revitalize the spirit of wellness through active community connections and partnership building. So I founded it in.
I'm sorry, Leroy. I need to interrupt just real quickly. You are a master of firing off those mission statements. Like, I don't know if you have cue cards back there or what, but those are some heady phrases, and you just fire them off like they're nothing.
That's if you believe in it, you'll remember.
That's true.
So yeah, that's my, and again, just focusing on wellness. Wellness looks different to everybody. Wellness looks different, whether it's you're a youth to an elder, the intergenerational, it takes everybody to, you make healthier communities. So again, that's my pitch. So that's what it looks like through my lens and my wife's lens and whoever I partner with, is that it's just a platform for us to, to give people a different perspective of wellness, that you don't have to, bust your ass on, can I say that?
Yes, Dave said the F word last week.
Just checking.
Yeah.
At the gym, or lifting weights and things like that. So everybody has their different perception, but wellness, mind, body, and connections is that if you're well, you're gonna be well. Your kids are gonna be well. Your family and your community. So that's the thing that I want, just to do extra. I do that in my 9 to 5, but for me, my philosophy is that if you have the ability, if you have the drive to do it, you got to, just do it, just do extra. So that's my extra. And again, I'm a big believer in, our kids will do what they see and say what they hear. So again, being a dad, that changed the game for me. And I want my kids to be healthy in, all aspects of their lives. So, for me, I want to be a role model for them, but also to, for my knowledge and for my connections, whatever, that's for the community. So that's what Family Indigenize Thrive is about.
I've got, I think, an important question for you, which is why. You do so much. I mean, whether it be through the NB3 Foundation, whether it be your kind of off the clock stuff, whether it be what we're going to get into here in a little bit, which is the DFP. I mean, I don't know how you cram it all into 24 hours, but why do you feel so driven to do all of this? This feels like a lot of community work for better or for worse, or for better in this situation.
Yeah, it is a lot. And, especially, put a pandemic on top of that, just be mindful of, that was taken away from me in regard to, my connection. I love people. I love learning about different cultures. I learn, just about your roots or where you come from. Those are usually my questions in regard to, I know what you do, but who are you? What are you about? So that's my medicine, is people. So that's the reason, is getting down to the nitty gritty, is that, just being real with people and knowing there's other ways of doing things. And in regard to our wellness is going to be a part of our lives. No matter, when we get older, whether you practice it or not, that wellness is a part of that. And, if you look back, our ancestors knew how to be well, no matter where we come from, but, because they had a better connection to the land, the relationships and things like that. And it's in us. We just got to revitalize that. So that's the reason why I do what I do. And again, being a father, being a husband is one of the biggest things, is that, when you look at indigenous communities, all of the statistics in regard to health are against us. So not really focusing on all of that, but, what are our strengths? What is our culture? What is our traditions? Things like that. Well, when you go mainstream, is that, again, wellness is for everybody. It just looks different and people take different approaches. People are at different spots in their lives. So, it's just all a matter about, inspiring from within and then motivate them to do something. So, that's my contribution to the world.
I agree a great deal with my second mother, Gail Tanner. There, so inspiring to listen to you talk. It's captivating, and again, just going back, I poke a little bit of fun at you about the mission, and it's instantly like, no, man, I'm passionate about it. This is not hard for me. This is not rehearsed. This is something that's a part of my soul. I love a phrase you just used right there. You just said, "People are my medicine." Like that is a beautiful thing. Like, and I think, I don't know, there's just something about the notion of that medicine. It got me to thinking, like, what is mine, right? Like, what is my soothing, agent in this world? Because you love people, and because I know you're someone that would, if given the opportunity, reflect your own praise and put it onto someone else. So I'll give you a good opportunity to do that right now. Who were some of those inspirational people along the way? who were some of those people that got you to the point you are right now? Because I can imagine you were a pretty boisterous child, but I don't know that you had this sort of focus and this sort of like pointed mission. Who were some of the people that helped kind of shape you into the beast you are today?
Wow. Well, first of all, definitely my mom was that guide, that guiding star for me. Being a single mom, my dad was there too, but it was mostly my mom that really, put me in the right direction. My core values of, respecting everybody. When people come up to you, say hi to them. Be respectful. Be, all of that what a mother does, and learning about how to just be respectful. I think that's the first person. Another person I hold in high regard is one of my cousin brother, Casey Duma. I think he might be listening, but he, him and I, we went to school together. We played basketball together. But he was when I would get wild out, he would be he would just regulate me just because he's really just a mellow guy. He's respectful. He's, all of these things. So he really mellowed me out. I don't know if he knew that, but Casey, now you know that, having people around you that really support you in the proper way. That's what I needed growing up. So really, there's focusing on those individuals, but also to the people who hold it down. It's multiple people in my community that, they balance, traditions, going to work and things like that. So I hold those people in high regard as well as, keeping our traditions and our culture alive, things like that. So those are the people I look up to. Outside of that, it's my coaches, the coaches that put up with me, the coaches who yelled in my face, the coaches who sat me down. And, all of those coaches really had something to give me. And, for me, and I use this to this day is that, don't listen to the way I'm saying it, listen to the message. So that's something that I took into consideration. And we talked about being coachable today with Dustin, talking about sales and, be coachable. So that for me, all of my coaches who took the time, whether they were there for half a season or the full season, I just, cause coaching is hard. There's a lot of time away from your families. There's a lot of time at games and practices. So, I give a big ups to all my coaches from, elementary school all the way to college. But those are the people who really, kept me in line and, just gave me those opportunities.
Leroy, you are, and I don't know if you want to take credit for this, but I'll say it anyway. You are an Indigenous leader in our community. I imagine that comes with some level of pressure, responsibility, whatever you want to call it. How do you kind of work that into every day? How does that affect how you go about your everyday? I mean, you're leading in so many ways, whether it be, through the NB3 Foundation, whether it be, again, the DFP, things like that. Do you feel like there's extra pressure on you to be a leader in those regards?
I don't think there is. Like I said, I start from, I just don't think about leadership. Where it comes is where I wake up is, my family. My family really guides me, really puts me in check, really grounds me. Is that I'm a father first and leadership comes second. So however I want to act around my family, like I said, my kids will do what they see and say what they hear. So that's the same thing how I live my life is that, for me, I stopped partying around and drinking 8 years ago because for me that it was time. I've been in college, I partied around, things like that. So for me to say no, that's not enough. And where I was in my life, I wanted a good marriage. I didn't want to see for my kids to see me, fighting and drunk and things like that. So for me, taking those steps in regard to, if I think that was the pressure is that, like, is Buster going to fail or what is he going to do? He likes to party, things like that. So, I had, that in back of my mind. And I'm always, thinking about, what is this? What are people going to think? But if I'm living my life the way I talk and what I'm about, then, nobody has anything to say. Is that if your heart's in the right place, if your words are positive, if your actions are positive, and, you're just going to get, a bunch of positivity back. So again, I live my life the way I treat my family. And, that's something that helps with leadership, but also too, my core values, respect, being humble, all the things that I learned growing up from my culture, my mom, things like that. Those are things that really still guide my life as well.
We don't even have close to enough time to go through the list of your accomplishments, your academic accolades, the things that you put on your diversity fellowship program application that it was just unreal. Maybe we'll take a screenshot of it later and completely violate your privacy and share that on social media. But the bare bones fact of the matter is it's an impressive list. I think what I'm most curious about is, out of that impressive list, what would you say are 2 or 3 of the moments that like stood out, that were flagpole moments for you, that you knew like, okay, I have learned something new and it's time to do something with this, or I've never thought about it in that way. Talk a little bit about those key stops on the journey.
Key stops in the journey. There's 2 programs, but we would break it down to programs. One of my first professional, as far as being a professional leader, a leadership program, was the Americans for Indian Opportunity. They're based here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. For me to see, they take indigenous leaders, you learn about, what is the tribal government relationship with the United States, but also to where taking your leadership to another level, no matter what sector you're in. So I really felt that that was my stepping point. Where am I in the world as an indigenous person, as an indigenous leader? What does it look like in New Mexico? What does it look like in Washington, D.C.? But also we were able to go to Ecuador. So fly in to learn more about the indigenous communities there. Go into the rainforest, learn, hang out with the Ashwar people, learn more about their culture, all of that fact. So that really set the tone in regard to what am I as an indigenous leader? And that, going back to your question, David. So that really gave me perspective, because without that program, I probably would have been lost for a while until I found it. But that's what really started. But I think the next big step in regard to being a leader in the community is, sometimes we're comfortable within our own community. Sometimes we're more comfortable with our own, organizations or what have you. For me, it's like Native American communities and organizations. So to apply to the culture of health leaders through the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, that was the time to shine, because I got dissed the first cohort, and it was a lot of work. If you ever applied to one of those leadership programs, a lot of work. So the second round came, and I said, nah, maybe not. They denied me the first time. So anyway, doing it again, pulling up the big boy shorts, I applied again and I got in. So they chose 40 of us out of almost 800 applicants across the nation. That wasn't it wasn't just open for Native American people. It was open for everybody. So for me to, be in that space, having that, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome. It's like, what am I doing? Well, I know what I'm doing there, but you're in the midst of executive directors, people who have PhDs and all of doing wonderful work across the country. I really felt that was my spot. This is where I belong. This is why you should care of what we do. In my community, this is what I have to bring to the table, so you could learn, so we could learn together. So I really felt that those 2 programs really put me in a position to really, what is my leadership potential, but also to what do I bring to the table so people could listen, and people can participate. So again, if we're talking about programs professionally, leadership wise, those are the 2 opportunities and 2 blessings that I had in my life in order to take me to the next level.
Well, a great question here in the chat from Chanel Weesey. She says, how can people start exploring their leadership later in life if they feel like they're behind or haven't had their shoulder tapped yet?
Yeah, great question, Chanel. So I really feel reflection is a powerful tool. Where are you at in your life? What is important to you? Because something that is important to you, like I said, maybe 10 years ago, you weren't ready, but now you're ready to make that opportunity. So I really felt, who is in your network? Again, what are your passions? And I really feel that our passions guide, what we do in the future. So I really feel that, tapping into those networks, but also to, what do you want to accomplish, and being real with yourself? What is your capacity? What is the time and energy that you have? All of those factors play a role in your path. All of those factors will play a role in what you can contribute to the community. But like I said, I always say that if you have the heart, if you have the drive, there's a space for you. There's an opportunity for everybody who has that. So again, we all mature in different ways and at different ages, but it's never too late to make a difference in the community. So I really feel that reflecting on the person's where they're at in the space that they're at right now is a good start.
Leroy, the summer of 2020 was a time of tremendous tumult, a time of it was very scary. It was horrible, a lot of it. And we all kind of sat around wringing our hands for a little bit, saying, what are we to do with all of this, right? You know, as a team, we felt compelled to make a statement. But I think, you know, with Coach Lassane and a lot of people, the players at the time being an engine of this, they said whatever statement we make has to be accompanied by action. And from that soil came the Diversity Fellowship program, this program where we said we're going to do something actively to address the underrepresentation of people of color, Indigenous people, women in the sport, not just the sport of soccer, but in sports in general. And it's moving to me, man, that like it's about a year ago that we started having these conversations, and it was like something we have to do. It's moving to me to be sitting here talking to one of the members of the inaugural class of the Diversity Fellowship program, and knowing you and knowing your history with the team, like you're an amazing person to occupy that role. Juliana is the other one on the front office side, and she is equally amazing. Yes. Talk to me about these first weeks of the curriculum, of being around the front office, of experiencing game day in a different way. Talk to me. And then also I want to put you in a little bit of hot water at the end. Tell us which was the favorite presentation that you've had. And if it's not me and David's or me and Josh's, I'm going to go cry for the rest of the episode.
Leroy, you don't have to answer that. You don't have
to. We were just talking about that today too with Dustin. And I said, I'm not in
because both Dustin and Lucas need this validation.
100%. Me much more so than Dustin.
Yeah. And what attracted me, and again, everything that I get into, you know, I do research, and you know, can I fit in regard? Does is that what I believe in? So the thing that again, going back to mission statements, is to create positive outcomes for every New Mexican. That's what caught my attention. And again, looking at that flag, that's every New Mexican, regardless of, where you come from, how you grew up, things like that, you're a part of this team. So again, I applied at the very last day because I was, thinking about, do I have the time? Do I have this and that? Again, I'm a father. I have 3 kids in the house. I'm a husband. I work from home now. And actually, I want to send a shout out to my 15-year-old son. He lives in Washington State. Big ups to you, Chase. Love you. So the fellowship has been going well. So if you think about, those of you who are out there, think about your favorite professional team, no matter what sport, and it would be, get that backstage opportunity. How would you feel? That's exactly how I feel right now, being a part of the Diversity Fellowship, is that New Mexico United is my favorite soccer team. And I get to see what happens behind the curtain. I think that's the beauty of, this Diversity Fellowship, is asking those questions. We see it as a fan. You see on game day, you see it, run smoothly. You see in all of this, fireworks and, all of this promotion, what happens on social media. But to see and talk with the people who do that, that's inspiring for me. And that's that's the beauty of this Diversity Fellowship. And you guys kicked it off really nicely with the game we love. And for me, being, in all honesty, I didn't become a soccer fan until 2019. Again, basketball was my passion, and I shared this with you guys before. But, just because it's like they scored 1 point and everybody's going crazy. And that was like back in the day, for basketball, you scored like 100 points. And but anyway, that's soccer. But, for me to be a fan, there's the soccer aspect, but also to the community aspect. I really feel that, New Mexico United does a really good job with the, marrying both of them. And, along with art and sport and community and unity, all of that. So, I'm really getting the backstage experience with this. Is that, we covered, I have my list here: corporate sponsorships, marketing, branding, social media, sales, fan experience, merchandise sales, all of that information that goes on. So again, your favorite team, me and Jules get the idea. It's like, this is coming out soon, get a little sneak peek of the jerseys or the apparel that's coming out. That's the backstage experience, but also to the planning that goes into that, the planning that everybody has to do to work together to make that happen. I really feel that that's the experience that I wanted to know, but also to see how it rolls out during game day. Just to prep, seeing you in the press box, Lucas and David, seeing seeing Dez run around and Ileana do her thing in heels and high heels, Peter doing his thing as well. So, it's nice to see you guys on game day doing what you love, what you're passionate about, even though there may be some times of high anxiety, but, it's nice to see you guys do what you do. But, I have nothing but positive things to say about the Diversity Fellowship. And, to be along with another fellow with Jules, who's really passionate about the work as well. So, like I said, nothing but positive vibes for everybody. So it's going well.
Got a great question here, and it gives me a great opportunity to go ahead and point out, yes, how important this question is, but more importantly, the person who is asking the question. That is my beautiful wife, and we are celebrating our 16th anniversary today with me podcasting. It's all a credit to her. Thank you. Yeah. Leroy actually has better production equipment than we do, so those sound effects are brought to you by him. I love you, sweetheart. But yes, back to this important question. Dill, please bring it back up. Leroy, as a lifelong basketball fan, what team are you rooting for in the NBA playoffs at this point? There's only one correct answer, so be very, very careful.
You know what? I'll probably, I don't watch NBA. My favorite. Yeah, I don't watch NBA, but my because the last NBA team I rooted for was the Bulls. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan days, all of those. That's when basketball was a team sport, and there may be some comments popping up here, but college wise, being that I went to school in Lawrence, Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks are my go-to college team.
Mr. Andrew Bolte.
What's that look? David.
Andrew Bolte rejoiced.
No.
The correct answer was the Phoenix Suns, Leroy. That was quite a tirade you went on, and old man yells at cloud that we don't play team basketball anymore. But
Leroy,
the Phoenix Suns play team basketball.
Twice. You somehow got that answer wrong twice. Because you didn't say the Suns for Lucas, and then you say Kansas Jayhawks, who are the main rivals of my West Virginia Mountaineers. Punzi, don't agree with him. Oh, my gosh. I quit.
It's good enough.
Goodbye. Good night.
Thank you, Cassandra, and thank you for your unbelievable support of the show and everything we do. You are an incredible human being, and we love you to death. Let's get back to Leroy. We've got a couple minutes before we need to go to break, and then I have whipped up a doozy of a game for you. You're actually going to compete.
Yes, Brendan Kearns. Yes, let's go Mountaineers.
Yeah, Brendan knows what's up. Brendan knows what's up. Leroy, I want to talk about the future because you are an individual who's incredibly intentional. I don't think you accomplish the things you accomplish with just kind of floating around, right? Like, and just letting the wind blow you where it might. Like, you are a man who seems to set goals and for the most part seems to meet those goals. So as it relates to the Diversity Fellowship Program, as it relates to the MB3 Foundation, as it relates to what it is with you're doing with your off hours job, all of these different things, like, we look back in 10 years. We're 10 years in the future, and we're looking back, and we've accomplished certain things that have made you super proud. What are those things? What do we need to get done, brother?
I need to get a house. That's the first thing. I think just find a way to inspire more youth, more people to think about wellness. Right now, I'm cooking something up with my Family Indigenized Thrive social enterprise with a wonderful organization here in Albuquerque, Samia Strategies. We are creating a fellowship. It's called Making Moves. So that'll be out in July. So in regard to that, it's sort of like a leadership for people who want to make moves in wellness, in the wellness sector. So anyway, that's going to grow. Say in 10 years, it'll be hopefully it'll, make rounds and it'll become something great and something that can keep going on. I think other things is, just trying to inspire more people. I don't know what that looks like. I do not know where that's going to take place. I know I want to travel with my family. But just to create more opportunities, create more spaces for people of color, for anybody to, find their passions, to make moves in the community. So that's, for me, that's all I can say. I don't know where that is. I don't know what that looks like, but I know I'll be doing that in the future.
And
all right, go ahead.
Great bit of advice there from Chanel. Make sure that you get that David Estrada involved in it. That guy's a go-getter. So he's an ally for the Making Move space. Dave, I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
So Family Indigenized Thrive, I was just kind of looking it up because I actually hadn't heard about it until you told me about it. So I was kind of looking at the website here. Is there a way? Are you guys a nonprofit? Can people donate? How can people support, get involved? I mean, from what I'm seeing, it's not just kind of movement. There's educational stuff here. There's conversations. Like, how can people be involved in that?
Yeah, so right now we're a community group. So that's something, again, just thinking about time. I don't have the time to run a nonprofit. I don't have the time to, do all that stuff. But right now we live as just a community group. We partner with various organizations and, community champions from around the country in regard to wellness. So we, gather, I do emceeing, I do workshops. My wife leads a after school program when pre-COVID anyway. It's called Powwow Wellness. She's a beater. She does powwow dancing, things like that. So our passions lead us to where we're at. So now, again, everything lives virtually. Until we can go and gather and go to conferences and summits and things like that. But website is familyindigenizethrive.org. Also, too, we have a Facebook page where I do a live stream show similar to this, where we it's called Big Ups Live, a positive space for positive people, every Sunday at 4 p.m. So that's again talking about wellness across the country. We talked about people from New Zealand and Ecuador here in the States. So just a lot of community champions around talk about wellness.
All right. So when we get into our game, the stakes, I was going to say we can make a donation to Family Indigenized Thrive, but we'll make a donation if you win, of course, to the NB3 Foundation. And if
that'd be awesome.
If you don't win, we'll make a donation to the Somos Foundation. So it's a win-win either way.
Either way.
Perfect.
Great. Well, we'll be back with a ridiculous game and more fun with Leroy in the Cinnamon Cafe Wrap It Up section.
In New Mexico, we know true love, true beauty, true adventure, true color, and true culture. Because we are truly hot, truly unique, truly rich, and truly home to the greatest stories and heroes, caverns and mountains, music and dancing, sunrises and sunsets. Home to the artists, the warriors, and the multi-generational, multiracial, all-inclusive family that we call the United. It's true, the black and yellow, this shield, these people, these scenes. This is New Mexico United, and New Mexico United is New Mexico True.
Holy mackerel. New Mexico and New Mexicans are beautiful people. It gets me every time. I'm going to take the emotion that I feel from watching that for the 900th time, and I'm going to steal one of Rob Romero's jokes. In that video, you notice that Devin Sandoval still has his locks. For those of us that were watching the game this weekend, we noticed that those locks are now gone. Yeah. And as Rob Romero rightly pointed out, he said Devin Sandoval went from Bob Marley to Lionel Richie, which I think is just classic. You look amazing, Devin. In the off chance you're watching, you're still my best friend.
Devin watches every episode live, so you're no longer his best friend.
He's always going to be my best friend. Leroy, on your laundry list of educational accomplishments, I see on there that you were a Kellogg Fellow. Now, I am not so dim as to actually think that is in relation to cereal. I know that it is a very prestigious education appointment. Having said that, I then took that accomplishment of yours and I turned it into a little game we're going to call Cereal Trivia, which is is about breakfast cereal. It's made even funnier by the fact that breakfast cereal is not necessarily the healthiest thing you can eat in the morning. I believe I read something that said a piece of pizza is actually better to eat than a bowl of breakfast cereal.
Yeah. I would like to point out, though, this is the Cinnamon Sugar and Spice Cafe Wrap It Up segment, and one of the things you can get there is a big bowl of Captain Crunch.
And they're just brilliant. And thank you, Dave, for saving me from myself once again. We love Cinnamon Cafe. I am so ashamed of myself that I forgot to set up the segment correctly. I hope
had a burrito this morning, sausage and red. It was delicious.
It's wonderful. We are working diligently on the burrito punch cards. As soon as we have those, we will blast that news. Regardless, Leroy, you will compete against David and test which of you has a better knowledge of the thing we've all enjoyed for all of our lives. I probably enjoy a little bit too much still.
Processed sugar, baby.
Here we go. Dave, I'm going to let Leroy go first since he's our guest, if that's all right with you.
He's also the much healthier person, so this makes sense.
Yes. Question 1, Leroy. Which was the first ready-to-eat cereal produced in the U.S.? Was it Cheerios? Was it puffed wheat? Was it shredded wheat? Or was it granola?
Repeat one more time. Answers.
A, Cheerios. B, puffed wheat. C, shredded wheat. Or D, granola.
And I have the opportunity to steal if he gets it wrong, right?
B, final answer.
B is in?
Puffed wheat.
Puffed wheat is incorrect. Dave, you have narrowed your odds.
It's shredded wheat.
It is not.
All right.
Out of all the questions, this is the one I disagree with the most. I'm glad it's out of the way. The answer is actually granola. I don't
That's
feel
not
like
cereal.
I don't feel like that counts as cereal. You can't just say that's being. I don't have a good parallel I can come off the top of my head, but that's a cheating question. All right, Dave, you get first crack at this one.
Question: are we doing like best of 7? What's the format?
Well, there's 15 total, so we should have a fairly natural breakdown.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll see. We'll see how it works out. This is always a mess. It's not nearly the mess it was last week, so we'll be fine.
That's true.
Number 2, Dave. According to Information Resources, in 2005, what was the number 1 branded cereal sold in the U.S.? 2005. Was it Honey Nut Cheerios? Was it Kellogg's Raisin Bran? Was it Cheerios? Or was it Kellogg's Corn Flakes?
Wait, so there's Honey Nut Cheerios and regular Cheerios?
There's Honey Nut Cheerios, regular Cheerios, Raisin Bran, and Corn Flakes.
Those should be the same thing.
They're wildly different, Dave. You're revealing your ignorance as a cereal.
No, I'm not saying that they don't taste differently. I just think like they're whatever. I will say Raisin Bran.
Wrong. Damn. Leroy.
I'm going to go with my son. He calls them O's Honey Nut Cheerios.
See, this is why these questions are so messed up. It's actually Cheerios.
Oh, see, come on.
Yeah, half a point.
And Punzi, I know that there's 20 different kinds of Cheerios. I totally get that. But when I say Cheerios, I just mean Cheerios, like all of them. I understand that they taste. And I'm a Honey Nut Cheerios guy. I love those.
All right, so it turns out when you take a Kellogg scholar, he doesn't know that much about cereal. Let's see if we can turn it around. Fake advertising there, Leroy.
Also, want to briefly, O's, which you described there, completely different cereal. It is the best cereal ever made, in my opinion. It's like it looks like Cheerios, but it has little other bits in there. It's so good. If you get the chance to get O's, OH''S, best cereal ever made.
Dylan Cuellar, producer Dylan, has a strong opinion. He says there's only one Cheerio and it's Honey Nut.
That's correct, Dylan. Well done.
Strong take, Dill. Thank you for your contribution.
Oh, I do like the apple cinnamon ones, though.
Yeah. Question 3. This one's going Leroy's way. Which was not an original flavor in the boxes of Trix cereal? I repeat, this was not an original flavor in the first boxes of Trix cereal. A, orange. B, grape. C, lemon. Or D, cherry.
I will have to go with grape.
That is correct, and Leroy is on board.
One. Can I protest that, please?
What would you like to protest?
All of the Trix flavors, it's all one flavor. It's
yeah.
All
I think they may be talking about the shapes of it. You are exactly right, Dave. It's all made in a magical amalgamation pot, but I do not believe they had a grape-shaped emblem in there.
That's fair.
All right, Dave, you got some catching up to do. I think you can do it, though. I believe in you. Which Kellogg's cereal was first introduced on the market? Was it Rice Krispies? Was it Frosted Flakes? Was it Corn Flakes? Or was it All Bran?
I've never heard of All Bran. What is All Bran?
It sounds like an abomination. I never want to meet it in my life.
That kind of leads me to believe it's like an older one that's not around anymore. I'm going to say Corn Flakes.
You would be correct, and just like that, it's 1-1.
I knew that one.
Oh, you knew that one?
Yeah. Leroy, do you know what?
at our orientation when we first went to Battle Creek, Michigan. That's where Kellogg is.
Do you know what All Brand is? I've never heard of it. I'm going to Google it. All Brand.
I'm pretty sure it's the cereal that's made entirely of bran. B-R-A-N.
Oh,
Bran.
All Brand. B-R-A-N.
All Bran.
So it's like a Raisin Bran knockoff.
Yeah.
There it is.
But it's all bran.
No raisins. That's stupid. Okay.
It's like Raisin Bran, but unnecessarily worse.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Silva, back to you.
Yeah.
First of all, the start of this sentence is amazing. According to the book Serializing America, yes, someone wrote a book. How many Americans start their day with a bowl of breakfast cereal? And the question should be, what percentage of Americans start their day with a bowl of cereal? Is it 89%? Is it 49%? Is it 9%? Or is it 100%?
Well, I promise it's not D because I don't.
One more time. Answers?
89, 49, 9, or 100%.
I'll go with 49.
Booyah. It's the only one that made logical sense. When I was taking this quiz, I think they could have made it a little tougher in that middle section, but I'm happy you got that question and not Dave.
Say like 39 and 29.
Yeah, there you go. Dave, I think yours is harder than that.
I would hope so.
Which brand of cereal boasts on the company website that their cereal is the #1 pre-sweetened kids cereal in the U.S.? I need you to mind that they boast about it on the company website.
I was going to say, that's not something I would talk about.
They're #1, and we pre-sweeten it. Is it Cap'n Crunch? Is it Waffle Crisp? Is it Fruity Pebbles? Or is it Cocoa Puffs?
Cap'n Crunch, Waffle Crisp, Fruity Pebbles, and Cocoa Puffs?
Those are the choices.
Pretty sweet.
I feel like they're all pretty sweet, and those are all pretty sweet.
But who's the #1, Dave?
Of those four, I would say the most eaten one is probably Cap'n Crunch. I'm going to say that.
You would be correct.
Let's go.
Shout out Cinnamon Cafe, giant bowl of Cap'n Crunch. That's what we should have done. We should have made Leroy's healthy butt go over there and eat a giant bowl of Cap'n Crunch if he lost. So that
I got a large coffee today, though.
That place is great. Cap'n Crunch, I think I could take it or leave it, honestly. I don't think it's... I mean, it's fine. I'll eat it if I'm at like one of those, like a hotel and all they have is cereal. It's fine. But I'd rather have like Frosted Flakes any day of the week.
Share your hot cereal takes in the chat, please. We want to see them. We may read them aloud.
Let's make sure that we pronounce that right. Hot cereal takes, not hot cereal takes. Important distinction there. We don't want to know about hot cereal.
We don't care about hot cereal takes. Hot, comma, cereal takes.
Oh, no. I don't think Punzi agrees with me.
Oh no! All right, Leroy, you're up.
All right, let's do it.
It's 2-2, right?
2-2.
All right.
Just like the famous dance apparel, it's 2-2. Which of these Kellogg cereals took 14 years to develop and was the company's first post-World War II cereal? Highlights there. It's Kellogg's, 14 years to develop, and the company's first post-World War II cereal. Was it Raisin Bran Crunch, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, or Frosted Flakes?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Brendan Kern, sorry about the oatmeal, man.
Big oatmeal guy, Brandon Kearns.
I like
I'm
oatmeal.
going to go Hail Mary with D, Frosted Flakes.
Your Hail Mary did not hit the receiver, my friend. Incorrect. Dave, you've got one of three. The three remaining are Raisin Bran Crunch, Apple Jacks, or Corn Pops.
I'm going to say Corn Pops.
Correct. And
Let's go!
Like that, you edged you out, Leroy. This is bad.
Sorry, Kellogg family.
I feel like Raisin Bran Crunch probably more recent. Felt the same way about Apple Jacks, probably more recent than that. So and I was going to go between what you said, Leroy, and Corn Pops. So
you just narrowed it down for him. All right, I'm going to narrow down our original 15 questions here in an effort to get Leroy back into it, but we're up against the clock a little bit.
All right.
So once again, back to the Bible, apparently, as it relates to all cereal-related information.
And this one's for me, right? This one's for me?
Yes, this is for you.
Okay.
According to the book Serializing America, which of these cereals has the highest amount of sugar per serving? Sugar per serving. Trix, Honey Smacks, Alphabets, or Honey Nut Cheerios?
Oh. Trix, Honey Smacks, Alphabets, and Honey Nut Cheerios?
Correct.
I'm going to say Trix.
You would be incorrect. Leroy, it's time to get your point back, brother. Honey Smacks, Alphabets, or Honey Nut Cheerios?
Honey Smacks is with the frog, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, it was sweet as heck.
That frog looks like a cereal over sugarer, and you would be correct. That is it. Honey Smacks. We are all even. We are all even.
I almost won with it. So close.
All right. Should we go to golden goal here, Dave?
Boy, you asked the question. Whoever gets it right, whoever just says it first wins. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think that's what we got to do here.
Leroy, do you agree to those terms?
Yes, I agree. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Which marshmallow shape was added to Lucky Charms in 1975?
Red balloons.
Incorrect. And now you're out, and Leroy gets to hear the choices.
No!
Okay, yes.
Leroy, the choices are, was it a rainbow? Was it a diamond? Was it a heart? Or was it a horseshoe?
Oh,
Leroy,
and I know it now. And I know it now.
What was the year?
1975.
1975. Jeez. I'm going to go, since we're in Pride Month, let's go rainbow.
Oh, no. The rainbow was already on there. Heart stars, horseshoes, clovers, and blue moons.
Pots of gold and rainbows and the red balloons.
And the red balloons. Diamond is the correct answer. Diamond was in 1975. All right.
So now what?
Now we have another one.
All right.
We got to go quickly. Come on, guys. You got to be clutch. Which was the original monster cereal produced by General Mills in the 1970s?
Count Chocula.
Dave, how can you treat our guest like that? You didn't even let him hear the choices, and you are 100% correct. It wasn't Fruit Brute. It wasn't Frankenberry. It wasn't Boo Berry. It was Count Chocula. Dave, congratulations, I guess.
Yeah.
Now we have to write in the match notes that you actually match notes in the podcast notes that you actually won. That's embarrassing.
That's the That's sorry, Leroy.
That's all good.
I love Count
Regardless,
Chocula.
it's going to one of the awesome foundations. So I'm no sad face here.
No sad face from Leroy. Hey, let's talk about happy face. What brought a smile to your face tonight? We're here in the Cinnamon Cafe Wrap It Up section, and we love to talk about our favorite part of the pod. What was yours, Leroy?
Just seeing you guys in a different light, just being a part of this, the process. How have you guys been? The pre-chat, just everything. I'm very happy to be here, very honored, and thank you very much for asking. But for real, just another chance to interact with you in a different space. So big ups to both of you for whatever you do, inspiring folks, making people laugh. So that's a great way to end my day.
Did you get to be on a podcast when you were a Kellogg fellow?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah,
I could create my own.
We're more important than Kellogg, is what you're saying. Got it.
Dave, what was your favorite part, brother?
So it would be real easy just to say, learning from Leroy, and that's certainly the case. But I think more specifically, I really enjoyed. I think I get a little sentimental about these kinds of things. But Leroy, you talking about being back on the field for the first time after the pandemic. I think we all kind of felt that a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. That first game back, it was just like, I choked up every 5 minutes, I think, just, when the curse is marching in, when you guys are running in, when the players take the field, when I hear the PA announcer, all these things, I really connected to that. So for me, just hearing that and I love seeing you guys run in every single match and kind of the description of what that means. It's not just people running with flags, right? There's so much more to it than that. It's a land acknowledgement and much more. So thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for hanging out with us, Leroy.
Thank you.
I'll be really quick. My favorite part is pretty much the same as it always. There's some indigenous youth out there that are looking at this rock star in front of us right now, and they're saying to themselves, I can do that. And every time we get to share that story and we get to inspire, there's just nothing better on the face of this earth. Before I kick it over to Dave for the final bow on everything, I'd like to once again remind you to rate, subscribe, review. We so appreciate you doing that. It helps us get the word out there. It helps us know what we can do better, what we can do worse. Like we now know from feedback that it's probably not a good idea to go and get buck wild in the middle of a tap room. That's all right. We'll be better. But thank you so much for your support to this point. If you can help us spread the word, tell your friends to listen on Monday night. We love the crowd interaction. Thank you for all who commented tonight and were a part of the show. And now it's back over to my pal, Dave.
Yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you to Cinnamon Cafe, Cinnamon Sugar and Spice Cafe, for sponsoring this Wrap It Up segment. They've got 2 locations, one in Nob Hill at Central and Carlisle, one over in the Northeast Heights at Eubank and Wantabo. So please hang out over there. They've got breakfast, they've got lunch, they've got all kinds of great stuff. I highly recommend the breakfast burritos and the chicken wrap. Those are my 2 favorite things over there. But again, as Lucas mentioned, rate, like, subscribe. Those things are difficult to say in a row. And just as important, this Wednesday, we're back at it on the pitch. We're going to be celebrating Juneteenth, Black Joy. We're going to have a lot of really awesome Juneteenth merchandise. That's really going to be really cool. It's going to be out tomorrow. You weren't supposed to know that, but here we are. If you're tuning in, now you know. We're launching that tomorrow, so tune in. And again, tonight at 7:30, so 28 minutes from right now, hop on social media, see the latest Somos Familia piece on the Romancito family. Really awesome folks over in Zuni Pueblo. Excited to see you all at the match on Wednesday. Leroy, we will see you there. Lucas, I will see you there. I'll see everybody here in the chat, hopefully. But until then, Lucas, Somos Unidos.
We are united.